everyone, welcome back. So in this lecture, we'll talk about the logarithmic decrement. As we know that logarithmic decrement represents the rate at which the amplitude of free damped vibration decreases. It is defined as the natural log of the ratio of two successive amplitudes. So in this figure, we can say this is the response of underdamped system. So let T1 and T2 denote the time corresponding to two conjective amplitudes x1 and x2. So we measured x1 at t equals to t time, and after one complete cycle we measured x2, and let's say t equals to t2 time measured x2, and x1 and x2 is just complete one cycle apart, right? So x1 and x2 ratio of these two can be given by this equation. As we know that x1 response of the underdamped system can be given by this equation. This is x naught e raised to power minus zeta omega, and t1 because x1 we measured at t1 time, and cos omega d t1 minus phi naught, and x2 we measured at t2 time. So response is x2 equals to x naught e raised to power minus zeta omega and t2 cos omega d t2 minus phi naught. So we measured x1 and x2 just apart one complete cycle. So one complete cycle time period tau d is given by 2 pi by omega d. Omega d is the damped frequency. Omega d is given by under root 1 minus zeta square multiplied by omega n. So x1 and x2 can be given by this. So as we know that t2 equals to t1 plus tau d, and tau d is given by t 2 pi over omega d. So we can write t1 plus 2 pi by omega d, or t2 we can write in the form of omega d t1 plus 2 pi by omega d. So this is t2. Now if we replace t2 in the form of t1, then cos this term cos omega d t2 minus phi naught can be written as, so this term can be written as cos omega d, and at the place of t2 we can write this term, which is omega d t1 plus 2 pi by omega d, right, and minus phi naught. So this will get cancelled out, and this term becomes cos 2 pi plus omega d t1 minus phi naught. And as we know that cos 2 pi plus theta can be written as cos theta. So this term can be written as cos omega d t1 minus phi naught. So if we replace cos omega d t2 minus phi naught by this term, so this can be written as x1 over x2, which is x naught e raised to power minus zeta omega n t1 cos omega d t1 minus phi naught over x naught e raised to power minus zeta omega n, and at the place of t1 t2 we write t1 plus tau d. So this is tau d. At the place of cos omega d2 minus phi naught we replace this term. So this becomes cos omega d t1 minus phi naught. So this will get cancelled out, this will again get cancelled out, and x1 over x2 remains e raised to power minus zeta omega n t1 over e raised to power minus zeta omega n t1 plus tau d. And this can be written as e raised to power zeta omega n tau d. So we got x1 over x2 ratio of 2 amplitude x1 over x2 is e raised to power zeta omega n tau d. So to get the logarithmic decrement, as from the definition we know that it's a natural log of the ratio of two successive amplitudes. So we got the ratio of two successive amplitude, and if we take the log of this, then we'll get the logarithmic decrement. So logarithmic decrement is represented by delta, right? So delta equals to natural log of over x1 over x2, and if we take the log of this on both sides, then log of x1 over x2 will be equals to zeta omega n tau d. And we know that tau d is 2 pi by omega d. So this can be written as delta equals to zeta omega n, and 2 pi this tau d can be written as 2 pi by omega d. And we know that this omega d can be written as 1 minus zeta square root of this multiplied by omega n. So this omega n will get cancelled out, and delta equals to 2 pi zeta over 1 minus zeta square. So this is the logarithmic decrement delta, right? Or we can say ratio of, this is the log of ratio of two successive amplitudes. So we can measure these two amplitudes at any 2 points which are aparted by a complete cycle, right? So we can measure this x1 at this place and x2 at this place also. So these 2 points are aparted by a tau d time, 1 by 1 complete cycle. Now again we can write, this can be written as, from here we know that this is 2 pi by omega d, and zeta multiplied by omega n, we know that this is c by 2m. From the last lecture we derived that the c by 2m is zeta omega n. So this also can be written as 2 pi by omega d multiplied by c by 2m. So this is logarithmic decrement delta. Now if this is the case, if zeta is very very less than 1, so there can be a case if zeta is less than 1, then this can be approximated, and we can write delta equals to 2 pi zeta, but this is the approximated value. So exact value is this one, 2 pi zeta over 1 minus zeta square. If zeta is very very less than 1, then this can be approximated in this form, right? So now as we know that logarithmic decrement is the dimensionless number, right? So because this is the ratio of two amplitudes, or we can say natural log of two successive amplitude, so this is the dimensionless number. So we can write the logarithmic decrement is dimensionless quantity, and or we can say this is the another form of zeta only. So you can say this is the another form of damping ratio zeta, or we know that zeta is also a dimensionless number, and we can say if once the delta is known, if once the delta is known, we can find out the zeta. So we can calculate the zeta. So as we know that if this is the equation delta equals to logarithmic decrement delta equals to 2 pi zeta over 1 minus zeta square. So if delta is known, we can measure the amplitude of two successive amplitudes of the response of any system's vibration, and from there we can find out the present damping in that system. So if we square this equation in both of the sides, then this is delta square equals to 2 pi square and zeta square over 1 minus zeta square. And if we simplify this, then this becomes 1 minus zeta square multiplied by delta square. This is 2 pi square zeta square, and this can be written as delta square minus zeta square multiplied by delta square and 2 pi square zeta square. And if we take these two terms on one side, then this becomes delta square is equal to zeta square and 2 pi square plus delta square. So we take the zeta square as a common, and from here we can write zeta equals to, we take the square root, and this becomes delta over 2 pi square plus delta square and square root of this. So if delta is known to us, logarithmic decrement is known to us, then we can find out the present damping in a given system. And this logarithmic decrement also can be find out if we measure the amplitude of two displacements separated by n cycles. So let's say this is the x1 and xm plus 1 represents the two amplitudes at t1 time and t m plus 1, which is equals to t1 plus m times of tau d. So we can write the x1 over xm plus 1 can be represented as x1 over x2, x2 over x3, and x3 over x4, and so on, and xm over xm plus 1, right? So from here, as we know that the displacement separated by one cycle, like if we say the displacements separated by one cycle time, or we can say separated by tau d, satisfy the equation which is xj and xj plus 1, or if j equals to 1, then this is x1 over x2, and this is given by e raised power zeta omega n tau d, right? So here we can say if this x1 over xm plus 1, this written as x1 over xm plus 1 is written as e raised to power zeta omega n tau d multiplied by, here this is m, or we can say e raised to power m zeta omega n tau d. And from here, if we find out the logarithmic decrement, then this becomes delta equals to 1 by m and ln of x1 over xm plus 1. So if we know the logarithmic decrement, and if we know the displacement of 2 points, those are separated by m times of tau d, then we can find out the logarithmic decrement using this formula. So this is all about the logarithmic decrement, and in the next lecture we'll talk about the forced vibration of single degree of freedom system. Thank you.